Alright, so it's Naked and the Descent into the Bath for this Rosary in picture number 4. Are you ready? So, um, in this picture, there's a tub filled with water, and it's hexagonal, 5 sides. Um, there's the sun. The moon, and the scrolls have disappeared, but the crowned humans are naked while holding the flowers with their right and left hands, and with the dove's beak attached to the flower. This is an important part of the process, so let's dip into it. Okay, the figures are not only connected to the flower, but through the water as well. And this water is the process of solutio. And solutio, the symbols are, especially when it comes to dreams, is swimming in water, bathing, showering, drowning, dissolution, baptism, and rejuvenation by water. Alright, the meaning of the solutio is going into the water that is the unconsciousness and dissolving the solid in order to structure the ego, remaking yourself. The process comes from the alchemy. Remember seeing the sun and the moon, the king and queen standing on them? Well, those are representations for gold and silver. And they were considered opposites, which means that they used to be together. And the bath is actually a representative of the mandala first image that I was talking about, where he had the mercurial fountain dipping things in. And that's what they would put the gold and silver to basically separate and unbreak them. Not unbreak them, I'm sorry. The representation is the gold and silver go in united, and they come out. They split apart. They're separated. It reunites and it separates. And that is the process of that, I hope. And then, so this process, is taking a solid matter, breaking it down to its original parts, or the prime materia. The water is the rebirth. It's the womb. You're going back into the womb like Stewie, the man in white. He's here to put you back in the womb. But the process is the beginning to making you more healthy and noble and coming together. Now, how this affects you individually is the last picture we were, stripped. You were coming to a realization. And now you got to go into the solution back to the unconsciousness, to remake yourself, to break you, to leave the bad, and to embrace the good. So that's the symbol, and if for some reason this is probably the point to whether either you reject the process and go away, and either if you don't like what's going on through this love and hate relationship thing within yourself, then you'll break away from the process and you'll avoid it if something doesn't feel right or anything like that. And this is normally what happens. It can happen in the later stages, but more than likely it's not going to. I mean, the percentage of it happening after, once you start the unification process, normally doesn't happen. I'd probably say it's like less than 1%. This is the portion to where either you decide to move forward or go back. Then, in a relationship level, this is where you're starting to come together. You're realizing your love and how to make this relationship work. And then to the society level, or societal, however you want to do that, we're going to go back to the impeachment process, because this is the point where we're at right now. Okay. So, in this process, you see that both the Democrats and Republicans, they're both kind of like stripped naked. They're ready to commence into battle and take this whole impeachment thing forward. But wait, there's a holdup. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to give the papers to the Senate, and they're saying that there's a possibility that they may impeach Trump again. To me, that's kind of odd for them to say that they're going to impeach him again, because to me, that means that whatever they did on this one, they rushed too quickly, and they're trying to get things done forcefully. They're not getting their way in the Senate. So that's why the impeachment process is stalled. And they're keeping the tension building right there. And I hope this is not something that they're going to play out to the election. Because if they play it out to the election and let the people decide, I can guarantee you everybody's going to vote for Trump, mostly because of all the BS that's going on. That's the standpoint. Now, they're not in the solution yet, so there's no healing process for us to begin with. Like, a lot of our healing, our unification, is going to go on once they're done fighting. Once they're done doing their fighting and it moves on to the Senate. Once it gets into the Senate, that's when you get to the solutio. That's when the problems of everything start dissolving and unification can begin. The unification won't happen until after the Senate process, or I wouldn't say, and it's not that the unification will be complete. There's still steps that have to go along with that. So it's going to be a little bit of a process before our country kind of heals from this whole situation. And in that, let me remind you of something. I believe it's, you saw it on The Walking Dead, and I believe it's actually an Islamic quote, but in the end of all this, the one thing that we need to realize, and we should realize it right now, but we need to let our mercy prevail over our wrath. And that's how a good future is going to move forward. So the whole impeachment process is not to the solutio moment yet. They're not descending into the bath. They won't descend into the bath until they make it to the Senate. And that's when everything will come to the surface. There'll be this trial, and we'll just see how that goes. My prediction, Donald Trump doesn't get removed from office and he gets reelected. And to be honest, I really don't think they're actually going to move to the Senate. I think they're just going to keep the vote and really not do it. Because I think that was part of the reason why Nostradamus talked about why he was impeached but not impeached. It was a weird... This time period is weird. Very, very strange. And a lot of things are going to be moving forward. If you're in California, there will probably be an earthquake happen before 2022. That'll probably be pretty bad. So I would move out of that state if you could. Although it may not happen. Who knows if I can tell the future, but I'm trying to predict it. And then 2025. 2025 will be when America really heals and comes together. Even though I believe that Trump will win the presidency, there'll still be a little bit of tension floating forth just because he's president and people hate him for some reason. I mean, yeah, it's just whatever. But the next president will come in and the country will start to begin its healing process. But unfortunately, that is when World War III will also kick in. So the turmoil before 2030 will not end yet. After 2030, the world will heal and things will be a lot more peaceful. Of course, there will be some tragic moments before that happens. But it's one of the reasons why I try to warn everybody about negativity and hate, because negativity and hate produces this atmosphere, and it produces negative things to happen. In any term, whether it be weather, whether it be war, whatever. And that's why people need to start focusing on the positive and focusing on positivity, focusing on forgiveness, and embracing love. Because that's the only way we as a species and a society will succeed. In the end, love and light conquer all. And then, what is it? Today is Thursday. So Sunday I will be doing, what's the next one? Hold on. Oh, it's the union and the manifestation of the mystery. Woohoo! Alright, so I will see you guys then. I hope you had a good one, and I hope you enjoyed this, and everybody have a wonderful day, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. Peace.